Today, Do Kwon is sentenced to 4 months in prison in Montenegro. Binance and the SEC reach a deal over U.S. customer assets. And Polygon's chief policy officer responds to the SEC's claims that the MATIC token is a security. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Jordan Smith. Digital currencies made gains over the weekend and are continuing that momentum today. As of noon Eastern, Bitcoin traded around $27,000, Ether hovered around $1,700, and Polygon's MATIC token traded at 60 cents. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. First, Do Kwon, the former head of Terraform Labs, was just sentenced to prison in Montenegro. According to a local paper, he and the former CFO of Terraform Labs were sentenced to 4 months in prison for falsifying documents. Both were trying to travel to Dubai using fake passports when they were arrested back in March. Kwon still faces much steeper charges here in the US and in South Korea, where officials for both countries are seeking his extradition. Next, Binance and the SEC just reached a deal in the battle over US customer assets. According to court filings, Binance US will move all customer funds back to the United States and make sure no one from the global exchange Binance will have access. The deal was reached to address concerns raised by the SEC that Binance and CZ were transferring customer funds around the globe, and it still needs approval from the judge overseeing the case. The SEC said in a statement that the proposed changes are essential to protecting investors, and Binance US spoke out about the deal on Twitter, saying the ongoing court battle has damaged its reputation, but that the deal will help it continue operating. Last, the crypto exchange backed by Charles Schwab, Fidelity, and Citadel has officially opened for trading. EDX Markets allows trading of Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. Notably, none of those cryptocurrencies are among those that the SEC alleged are securities in its latest crackdowns. And to tamp down on fears of misuse of customer funds, EDX is a non-custodial exchange, so it doesn't handle customer assets directly. The company says it plans to launch a clearinghouse business to help it settle transactions, but funds will be held in third-party banks and custodians. All right, for our main story, we turn to one of those cryptocurrencies named in the SEC's lawsuits against Binance and Coinbase this month, Polygon's MATIC token. Crypto World's Talia Kaplan spoke with Rettig, Polygon Labs' chief policy officer, about the agency's claim that MATIC is a security, and she also explains the company's new database for blockchain use cases.
The SEC has argued that several popular cryptocurrencies, including Solana, Cardano, and Polygon, are securities. In fact, in the agency's lawsuits against Binance and Coinbase earlier this month, the SEC named those three and several other tokens as examples of securities being offered and traded on what it alleges are non-compliant crypto exchanges. What is your response to that?
I think that seeing the crackdown on exchanges from the SEC has been expected for a long time. I think the chair of the SEC, Gary Gensler, has been very clear on two things. One, that almost every single cryptocurrency or crypto asset other than Bitcoin is an unregistered security, and thus anybody allowing those to trade on their platform is engaged in the unlawful activity of allowing being an unregistered broker-dealer or an unregistered exchange. As with respect to the allegations themselves, obviously Polygon Labs disagrees, but those are things that are going to have to be worked out in court. I think we've seen this time and again, though, that the SEC has brought allegations about certain different crypto assets, but not brought anything against projects. This isn't the first time, but that he really brings it against exchanges or others, and sees if those issues are going to be worked out in court.
So I do want to point out that a few days after the SEC hit Binance and Coinbase with charges, Polygon Labs appeared to try and distance the MATIC token from U.S. markets in a tweet. Now, the company behind Polygon did not say that the token is not a security and didn't explicitly mention the SEC. However, the tweet said that Polygon was developed and deployed outside of the U.S. and pointed to a global community that supports the network. What was the intent behind that statement? Was that a response to the SEC's claim that Polygon is a security?
I think the intent was to clarify exactly what Polygon Labs is, which is a software development company, where it is, which is outside the United States, where the technology was developed. And there was a part of that tweet that also said, MATIC is really meant to be used on the Polygon network. It is obviously for validation. And I think those are just facts about both the network, what Polygon Labs does, and the token itself. But I think, it was really just meant to clarify lots of different things that were flying around out there on social media. I think we all know that a lot happens, and a lot did happen publicly after, with respect to, many different companies, after the SEC brought down both of those complaints.
So since the SEC charged Binance and Coinbase, Robinhood announced that the trading app will delist the tokens named in the lawsuits as securities, including Solana, Cardano, and Polygon's tokens. eToro also announced the investing platform will delist 4 cryptocurrencies for U.S. users next month, citing recent developments as the reason why. Polygon's MATIC token is one of those cryptocurrencies. So what do you think about those moves by these platforms?
I honestly think that it's really unfortunate that this is the way it's going down in the United States. As our chief policy officer, I work on global policy issues and I engage with policymakers and regulators all across the world, Europe, the UK, Asia, and this is not how any other country is approaching the issue of crypto assets or blockchain technology. There is a lot more room for growth and innovation, as well as work to put together really comprehensive regulations. The EU has brought down MiCA, the Markets and Crypto Asset Regulation, which is very comprehensive. The UK has proposed something that's the same. Japan has had rules and regs in for a long time. And I will say, Congress very recently, Chair McHenry introduced a new discussion draft of a bill that's meant to really bring forward a comprehensive set of rules and regulations and legislation for crypto assets. That really seems like the path forward, and it's much more in line with what's going on in the rest of the world.
Overall, what do you think about the SEC's heightened crackdown on crypto exchanges and regulation through enforcement as a whole?
I do think that this has been going on for a while. I think, as you noted, it is heightened, but I don't think it is unexpected. And we've been seeing this gradual escalation over time. And I think it's something that we all were expecting. And now we can see things play out in the courts, which I think is really the right venue, because I do not think there has been a clear path forward. There's been a lot of conflicting statements from various different agencies, and both at the federal and state level. I think it's something that we really need greater clarity on, really through legislation. And if we can't get that anytime soon, then through the courts.
The president of Polygon Labs testified before Congress in Washington, D.C. recently, arguing that blockchain technology inherently democratizes the internet. He also testified about the importance of the technology and stressed that it's critical for blockchain to be built right here in the U.S. Now, since you last joined us here on Crypto World in March, you've been working on an initiative to help policymakers understand the use cases for blockchain and crypto outside finance markets. Can you take us through some of those use cases, and why was this initiative something that was important for you to focus on?
That's a great question. Both myself and many of us who work in policy, not just in the United States, but all around the world, frequently get the question, what's blockchain good for? Is there any inherent value? I think we've seen lots of different governments, including the president's economic report issued a few months ago, really question whether there was any fundamental value to this technology. And the value prop, which is a new open database that Polygon Labs put out, but is really meant to be a public good, is meant to answer that question. Yes, there is a fundamental value to this technology. So it highlights 7 different verticals or economic sectors, 39 different use cases, and over 300 applications of different types of blockchain-based apps that are bringing positive impact to the world. Some of my favorites that are highlighted on there are the UNICEF DAO. They have a fund where they take donations in cryptocurrency and give donations in cryptocurrency to really eliminate the opacity that has gone on with NGOs and with various nonprofits in terms of their giving. Nori carbon credits is another one of my favorites, which tracks different types of positive environmental impact around the globe. And there are many, many others on there.
How does the value proposition database work exactly?
It's just an open website, which is great. And you go into it and it says, enter the database, and you go in and you can filter by use case. You can filter by economic sector. So if you wanted to look at sustainability, you can see all the apps that we've collected with respect to, issues around sustainability. If you wanted to look at universal basic income as a use case, you can click down that and filter by that. You can also filter by network because it is network agnostic. It has applications that are on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Polygon, Avalanche, Arbitrum. So we have included everything we could find and that the community helped us find through a crowdsourcing effort. And for anybody who goes and wants to see an application feature that's not there, please reach out to us at policy@polygon.technology, and we are happy to add your use case in.
All right, that's all for Crypto World today. We'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll see you then.